네, 안녕하십니까. 영어 쉐도잉 연습 38일차 시작해 보도록 하겠습니다. 네, 오늘도 첫 번째 영상은 오바마 영상부터 시작을 해보겠습니다. 그럼 148일차 시작을 해보겠습니다. 네, 자막을 좀 가리고 하겠습니다. But at the end of the day, the circumstances of your life, where you look like, where you come from, how much money you have, what you are going on at home, none of that is an excuse. There is no excuse. We're not trying. I've given a lot of speeches about education. I've talked a lot about responsibility a lot. I talked about teachers' responsibility for inspiring students, pushing you to learn. I talked about your parents' responsibility for making sure you stay on track, you get your homework done, and don't spend every waking hour in front of the TV or with the Xbox. We talked about a lot about your government responsibility for setting high standards and supporting teachers and principals and turning around schools that are working, where students are getting the opportunities that they deserve. But then at the end of the day, we have the most dedicated teachers, most supportive parents, best schools in the world, and none of it will make a difference. None of it will matter. Unless all the people feel your responsibility, unless you show up to those schools, unless you pay attention to those teachers, unless you listen to your parents, grandparents, and other adults, and put in the hard work it takes to succeed. That's why I want to focus on today. The responsibility each of you has for yourself, for your education. The responsibility each of you has for your education. I want to start with the responsibility you have to yourself. Every single one of you, every single one of you has something that has something that you regret. Every single one of you has something to offer. You got you have a responsibility to yourself to discover what that is. That's the opportunity an education can provide. Maybe you could be a great writer. Maybe even good enough to write a book or articles in newspaper, but you might not know it. Maybe you could be an innovator or inventor. Maybe even good enough to come up with the next iPhone or the new medicine or vaccine, but you might not know it until you do a project for your science class. Maybe you could be a mayor or a senator or a Supreme Court justice, but you might not know that until you join student government or the debate team. No matter what you do, no matter what you want to do with your life, I guarantee that, that you'll need an education to do it. You want to be a doctor or a teacher or a police officer. You want to be a nurse, an architect, or a lawyer, or a member of military. You're gonna need a good education for every single one of those careers. You cannot drop out of school and just drop into a good job. You got to train for it, and work for it, and learn for it. This isn't just improving your own life and your own future. When you make of your education will decide what you make of your education will decide nothing less than the future of this country. Future of this country. When you make of your education will decide what you make of your education will decide nothing less than the future of this country. The future of America depends on you. Your learning in school today will determine whether we what you're learning in school today will determine what you're learning in school today will determine whether we as a nation greatest challenges as a nation can solve the greatest challenges in the future. What you what you are learning in school today will determine whether we as a nation meet our greatest challenges in the future. You need the knowledge and problem solving skills you learn in science and math to cure diseases like cancer and AIDS, or, or, develop, or to develop new technology or to develop new energy technologies and protect our environment.
You'll need the insights and critical thinking skills
You need the insight and critical thinking skills
you gain in history
you
and
gain in
social
history
studies
and social
to fight
studies
poverty and
for
homelessness,
to fight poverty and homelessness
crime and discrimination,
and crime and discrimination
make our nation more fair and
and make
more free.
our nation more fair and more free.
You'll need the creativity and ingenuity you
You
develop
need a creativity and ingenuity.
in all your classes to build and more free. You'll need the creativity and ingenuity you develop in all your classes
You need a creativity and ingenuity you develop in you develop in all your classes
to build new
to
companies
build new
that will create new
companies
jobs and
that will
boost our
create new
economy.
jobs and
We
boost our
need every
economy.
single
We
one of
need
you
every
to
single one
develop
of
your
you.
talents and your skills
We need every single one of you to develop your talents
and your intellect
and your
so you can
intellect and
help
and
us
your and your skills and your intellect so that you can
old folks
help
solve
us
our most
help us help us old folks solve
difficult problems.
the most
If you don't do
different
that,
problem.
help us old folks solve
Help us
our
old folks solve
most difficult problems. If you don't
the most the most difficult problem.
do that,
If you
if you
don't do
quit on
that,
school,
if you
you're
quit on
not just
school,
quitting on yourself,
you're not
you're
just
quitting
quitting
on
on
your
yourself.
country. I know
You're
it's
quitting
not
on your
always
country.
easy to do
I know
well.
it's not always
I know a
easy
lot
to
of
do
you
well
have
in school.
challenges in your
I know
lives
a
right
lot
now
of you have challenges
that
in
make
your
it
life
hard to
right now.
focus on your schoolwork. I know a lot of you have challenges in your lives right now
I know a lot of you have challenges in your lives right now.
that can make it hard to
They can make
focus
it
on your
hard to
school.
focus on your school.
I get it. I
I
know
get
what
it.
it's
I know
like.
what it's like.
My father
My
left
father
my
left my
family
family when I was 2 years old.
I was
I
raised
was
by a
raised
single
by a
mom who
single
had to
mom
work,
who had to
who
work
struggled at
and who
times to
struggled
pay
at
the
times
bills,
to pay the
wasn't
bills
always able to give us the things that other
and
kids
wasn't
got.
always to give us and wasn't always able to wasn't always able to give us the things that the kids had.
There were times
There were
when I
times
missed
when I missed
having a father
having a
in my
father in my
life.
life.
There were
There were
times
times
when I was lonely
when
and
I
I
was
felt like I
lonely
didn't fit in.
and I felt like I didn't fit in.
So I
So I
wasn't
was
always
always
as focused as I should have
so
been.
I was always as so I wasn't always so I was always
There were times when I was lonely and I felt like I didn't fit in. So I wasn't always as focused as I should have been on school.
so I wasn't always as focused as I should have been at school.
I did some things
I
that I'm
did
not proud of.
I did some things I'm not proud of.
in more trouble than I should have.
I got in more trouble than I should have.
My life
My life
could easily
could
take
easily take
a
a
turn for
turn
the
for
worse.
the worse.
But
But I was
I got
lucky.
a lot of second chances.
I got a lot of second chances.
I had the opportunity to go to college, law school.
I had the opportunity to go. I had the opportunity to go to college,
I was lucky. I got a lot of second chances, and I had the opportunity to go to college,
and
law
I
school.
had the opportunity to go to college, and I had the opportunity to go to college,
Follow my dreams.
law school, and
My
follow my
wife,
dream.
our first lady, Michelle
My wife, First Lady Michelle Obama,
Obama,
she has a similar story.
Neither of her
Neither her
parents
parents
had gone to
had
college.
gone to college.
And they didn't have a lot
They
of
didn't have,
money, but they worked hard,
they didn't have a lot of money,
and she worked
and
hard
they worked hard, and she worked hard,
that she could go to the
so
best
she,
schools.
so that she could go to the best schools in this
Some of you
country.
might not have
Someone
those
might not have those
advantages.
advantages.
Maybe you
Maybe you
don't
don't
have
have
adults
adults
in
in
your
your
life
life
to
who
give you
give
the
the
support
support in your need. Maybe someone
that you
in
need.
your
Someone in
family has lost their job.
Maybe you
Then there's not enough money to go around.
live in a neighborhood where you don't
Maybe
feel
you live in a neighborhood
safe.
where you don't
Have
feel safe,
friends who are pressuring you to do things
or have friends who are pressuring you to do things
you
you
know
know
aren't
are
right.
right.
But at the end of the day,
The circumstances of your life, what you look like, where you come from, how much money you have, what you got going on at home, none of that is an excuse for neglecting homework and having a bad attitude in school. And there's no excuse talking back to your teacher and cutting class and dropping out of school. There is no excuse for not trying. You are not where you are right now doesn't have to determine where you will end up. No one's written your destiny for you. Because here in America, you write your own destiny. You make your own future. That's why young people like you are doing every day across America. Young people like Jasmine Perez from Roma, Texas. Jasmine didn't speak English when she first started school. Neither her parents had gone to college. And she worked hard and earned good grade and got a scholarship to the Brown University as now in graduate school studying public health on her way to becoming Dr. Justin Perez. I'm thinking about Andoni Schultz, from Los Altos, California, who's fought brain cancer since birth 3.
He's had to endure all sorts of treatments
All sorts of treatments and surgeries. This one of which affected his memories,
much longer.
and it took him much longer, hundreds of extra hours to school,
Never fell behind.
but he never fell behind.
Headed to college this fall. Then there's
He's headed to college in this fall.
Chantel
And
Steve
then there was
from my
Shanta
hometown of
Steve
Chicago, Illinois.
from my hometown of Chicago, Illinois.
Even when
Bouncing from foster home to foster home, even when bouncing from foster home to foster home in the toughest neighborhood in the city, she managed to get a job at a local health care center, start a program to keep young people out of games. She's on track to graduate high school with honors and go on to college. Jasmine and Donnie, Chantel aren't any different, aren't any different from any of you. They face the challenges in their lives.
some from any of you. They face challenges in
They
their lives
face challenges in a life
just like you do.
just like you.
In
Some cases, they got a lot. They got a lot worse off than many of you.
Refuse to give up.
They refused to give up. They chose to take responsibility for their lives, for their education,
Set goals for themselves.
and set goals for themselves.
Expect all of you to do the same.
And I expect all of you to do the same.
That's why today I'm calling on each of you to set your own
Uh,
selves. And I expect all of you to do the same.
all of you to do the same.
That's why today I'm calling on each of you to set your
And that's why today I'm calling on each of you to set your own goals through your education.
own goals for your education.
Through your education. And that's why today I'm calling on each of you to set your own goals through education.
Do the same.
That's why
today
today
I'm
I'm
calling
calling
on
on
each of you to set your own goals for your education.
each of you to set your own goals through your education
And do
and
everything
do
you can to meet.
everything you can meet.
But whatever you resolve,
Then everything you and do everything you can to meet them. Whatever you resolve to do,
I want you to
I want you to commit it. I want you to really work at it.
I know that sometimes you get
I
that sense from TV
know that sometimes you get the sense from the TV that
be rich,
you can
successful
be
without
rich
any hard
and
work.
successful without any other work.
That your
Your ticket to success is through rapping or basketball or being a reality TV star. Chances are you're not gonna be any of those things. The truth is, being successful is hard. You will love every subject. Then you study. You won't click with every teacher you have.
Every homework assignment
Not every homework assignment
will
will seem completely relevant to your life right at this minute.
You won't necessarily succeed in everything
And you, yeah,
life right at this minute. And you won't necessarily succeed in everything
and you won't necessarily succeed in everything
the
the first time you try. That's okay. Some of the some of the some of the mo- some of the most some of some of the most some of the most successful people some of the most successful people some of the most successful people in the world
are the ones who've had the most failures.
are the ones who had most failures.
J.K.
J.K. Rowling, who
wrote
wrote Harry Potter.
Her first Harry Potter book was
Her first Harry Potter book was rejected
12
12 times
before it was finally published.
before it was finally published. Before it was finally published. Mike Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. He lost hundreds of games and missed thousands of shots during his career. But he once said, I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. These people succeed because they understood that you can let your failures define you. You have to let your failures teach you. You have to let them show you what to do differently next time. So if you get into trouble, that doesn't mean you're a troublemaker. It means you need to try harder. It means you need to try harder to act right. If you get a bad grade, it doesn't mean you're stupid. It doesn't mean you're a stupid. It just means you mean it just means you need to spend more time studying. no one's born being good at all things. You become good at things through hard work. You, you're not a varsity athlete. The first time you the first time you play a new sport,
Every note the first time you sing a song, you got the first time you play a new sport, you don't hit every note the first time
you don't hit every note the first time you sing a song.
you've got to
You
practice.
got to practice.
The
The same principle applies to your school. You might have to do a math problem a few times before you get it right.
Read something a few times.
You might before you get it right.
You might have to do a math
Problem
problem a few times before you get it right.
Before you get it right. Before you get it right.
Eyes to your schoolwork. You might have to do a math problem a few times before you get it right.
Before you before a few times before you get it right.
You might have to read something a few times before
You might have to do a you might have to read sometimes. You might have to read something a few times
you understand it.
before you understand it.
You definitely
You
have to do
definitely
a
have
few
to.
drafts of a
You
paper.
definitely have to do a. You definitely have to do a few drafts of papers
Before it's good enough to
before
hand in.
before
Don't
it's
be
good enough to hand in.
afraid to ask questions.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Don't be
I do that
afraid to ask for help when you need it.
every day.
I do.
Asking
I do that every day. I do that.
afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. I do that every day.
I do that every day.
Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign
Ask for help is a sign of weakness. Isn't a,
of strength because it shows
it's a sign of strength. It shows you have the courage of the
know
make.
something.
It shows you that it shows you have the courage to admit when you don't know something,
And that then allows you to learn
something new.
So find an adult that you trust.
So find an adult that you trust,
A grandparent or a teacher,
parents or grandparents or teacher, coach or counselor,
and ask them to help you stay on track
and ask them help you stay on track to meet your
even
goal.
when you're struggling.
Even when you're struggling, even when you're discouraged, even when you're, even when other people have given up on you.
Ever give up courage. You feel like other people have given up on you.
You feel like other people have given up on you.
Don't ever give up on yourself.
Don't ever give up
When
on
you give
yourself.
up on yourself,
When you give up on yourself,
give up on your country.
you give up on your country.
The story of
The story of America isn't about people
when things got tough.
who quit when things got tough. The story of America, the story of America isn't about people who quit with, who quit, who quit when things got tough.
People who kept going, who tried harder,
It's about the people who kept going,
who loved their
who
country
tried hard, and who loved their countries too much
too much
to
to
do
do
anything less
It's the story
than,
of
the,
students
than their best. It's a story of students who said,
sat where you sit
it's a story of students who said, where you sit
250 years ago
250 years ago
and went on to wage a revolution and
and went on to wage a revolution and
they
founded this nation. Young people, students who said, where you sit 75 years ago, overcame a depression and won a world war, fought for civil rights, put a man on the moon. Students who said, where you sit 20 years ago, founded Google and Twitter and Facebook, and changed the way we communicate with each other. So I want to ask all of you.
Change the way we communicate with each other. So today I want to ask all of you,
So today I want to ask all of you,
what's your contribution going to be?
what's your contribution gonna be?
What problems are you going to solve?
What problems are you gonna solve?
Discoveries will you make?
What discoveries will you make? So I expect all of you
to
to
get
get
serious
serious
this
this
year.
year.
I expect
I expect you to put your best effort into everything you do.
great things
I expect great things from each of you. Don't let us down. Don't let your family down. Your country down.
Make us all proud.
Most of all, don't let yourself down. Make us all proud. Make us all proud. Make us all proud. Make us all proud.
Thank you very much, everybody.
God bless you. God bless America. 네. 네, 오늘 좀 더 좀 어색한 부분들 들으면서 네, 좀 더 반복을 해봤습니다. 그래서 조금은 시간이 좀 걸렸고요. 그러면 두 번째 영상으로 넘어가서 이번에는 자막을 보면서 한번 해보겠습니다. How to have a good conversation 이라는 영상 한번 해보겠습니다.
So, working from home with all of this going on is a little bit more challenging than normal. But actually,
Before this camera
alright, I want to see a
Uh,
show of
I
hands.
wanna
How many of you
share-
have an unfriended
Alright, I wanna see a show of hand. How many of you have unfriended someone on Facebook because they said something offensive about politics, religion, childcare, food?
And how many of you
And
know
how
at
many
least
of you
one
know
person that
at
you
least one
avoid
person that you avoid
just
because
don't
you
wanna talk
just don't want to talk to them because you just don't want to talk to them.
You know, it used to be that
You
in order
know,
to have
in
a
your
polite
spirit, in order to
conversation,
have
we just
a
had to follow
polite
the advice of
conversation,
every
we
human
just had to
behavior,
follow
meaning
the
stick to
advice on
weather
how
in
it
your
is in
house.
my family
But
lady. Stick to
these
the
days,
weather in
with
your
climate
house.
change
But
and
these days with climate
anti-vaxxing,
change
those
and the
subjects
vaccine, those subjects
are not safe
are not
either.
safe either.
So
So this world that we live in,
this world
in
in
which
which
every conversation has the potential to devolve into an argument, where our politicians can speak to one another, and where even the most trivial of issues have someone fighting was passionately for it and against it, is not normal. Pew Research did a study of 10,000 American adults, and they found that at this moment, we're more polarized, we're more divided than we ever have been in history. We're less likely to compromise, which means we're not listening to each other and making decisions about where we live, who we marry, and even who our parents are going to be, based on what we already believe. Again, means we're not listening to each other. A conversation requires a balance between talking and listening, and somewhere along the way we lost that balance. Now, part of that is due to technology. The smartphone that you're all either have in your hands, or close enough that you could grab them really quickly. According to Pew Research, about a third of American teenagers send more than 100 texts a day. And many of them, almost most of them, are more likely to text their parents than they are to talk to them face to face. There's this great piece in the Atlantic. It was written by a high school teacher named Paul Barrow. And he gave his kids a communication project. He wanted to teach them how to speak on a specific subject without using us. And he said this, I came to realize that conversational competence might be the single most overlooked skill we've yet teach. Kids can spend hours a day engaging with ideas and each other through screens, but rarely do they have an opportunity to hone their interpersonal communication skills. It might sound like a funny question, but we have to ask ourselves, is there any 21st century skill more important than being able to sustain coherent, confident conversation? Now I'm making my living talk to people. Nobel Prize winners, truck drivers, billionaires, kindergarten teachers, heads of states, plumbers. I talk to people that I like. I talk to people that I don't like. I talk to some people that I disagree with deeply on a personal level, but I still have a great conversation with them. So I let's spend the next minute or so teaching you how to talk, how to listen. Many of you have already heard a lot of advice on this. The things like look the person in the eye, think of interesting topics to discuss in advance, to look at a mouth and smile to show that you're paying attention. Repeat back what you just heard or summarize. So I want you to forget all of that. It's crap. There's no reason to learn how to show you are paying attention if you are in fact paying attention. Now, I actually use the exact same piece as professional interviewer that I do in legal life. So I'm gonna teach you how to interview people, and that's actually gonna help you learn how to be better conversationalists. Learn to have a conversation without wasting your time, without getting bored, and please God, without offending anybody. We all have really great conversations with happy people we know what's like. Have the kind of conversation where you walk away, you get engaged and inspired, where you feel like you made a real connection and you've been perfectly understood. There is no reason why most of your interactions can be like that. So I have 10 minutes rules. I'm going to walk you through all of them.
she
but
was one of
honestly,
them
if you just
and
choose one
master
of them
it,
and master
you're
it,
already
you're
enjoying
already
better
into better
conversations.
conversations.
Number one,
Number one,
don't
don't
multitask.
multitask.
And I don't
And,
mean
and,
just
I-
set
and I don't
down your
mean
cell phone
just
or your
set your
tablet or
desk
your
or
car
your
keys or
tablet and
whatever's
your
in
car
your
keys or
hand.
whatever
I
you
mean,
use your hand.
be
I mean,
present.
be
Be
present, be
in
in that
that
moment.
moment. Don't be thinking about your
Don't be
argument
thinking
you
about
have
your
with your boss.
argument
Don't
you
be
had with
thinking
your
about
boss.
what you're
Don't
gonna
think
have
about
for
you,
dinner.
what
If you
you're
want to
gonna
get out of
have
the
for dinner.
conversation,
If you
but
want to
don't be
get out
half
of the
in it
conversation, don't
and
be
half
don't be
out of it.
half in it
Number
and
two,
half out of it.
don't
Number two,
pontificate.
don't pontificate.
If you
If you
wanted
want
to
to state
state your
your
opinion
opinion without
without
any
any
opportunity for response or argument or pushback or grouse,
write a
write a
blog.
blog.
No, there's a
Now,
really
there's a
good
really
reason
good
why I
reason
don't
why I
allow
don't allow
pundits
pundits on my show
because
because
they're
they're
really
real
boring.
boring.
If they're a conservative,
Because
they're gonna hate Obama
they're
and food
gonna
stamps and
Obama
abortion.
food stamps
If
and
they're a
abortion.
liberal, they're gonna
They're
hate big
liberal,
banks
they're
and
gonna
oil
have big
corporations and
things
big
and
chains.
oil corporations and
Totally
big chain.
predictable.
They're
And
only
you don't want to be
predictable.
like that.
And you don't want to
You
be
need to
like that.
enter
You
every
enter
conversation
every conversation
assuming
assuming that you have something to
learn.
learn.
The famed
The brain
therapist
therapist
Scott Peck
said
said that
that
true
true
listening
listening
requires
requires
a
a setting aside of
oneself.
oneself.
And
Sometimes that means setting aside your personal opinion. He said that sensing this acceptance, the speaker will become less and less personable and more likely to open up the inner recesses of his or mind to the listener, his or her mind. Like, assume that you have something you learn. Bill Nye, everyone you will ever meet knows something that you don't. I put it this way. Everybody is an expert in something. Number three, use open-ended questions. In this case, take a cute current journalist. Start your questions with who, what, when, why, or how. If you put in a complicated question, you're gonna get a simple answer out. If you ask you, are you terrified? You're gonna respond to the most popular word in the sentence, which is terrified. And the answer is, yes, I was, or I was. You were angry? Yes, I was very angry. Let them describe it. They're the ones that know. Try asking them things like, what was Lang like? How did that feel? Because then they might have to stop for a moment and think about it. And you're gonna get a much more interesting response. Number four, go with the flow. That means thoughts will come into your mind, then you need to let them go out of your mind. We've heard interviews often in which a guest is talking for several minutes, and then the host comes and asks a question which seems like comes out of nowhere. It's already been answered. That means the host probably started less than 2 minutes ago because he thought of this real clever question, and he was just bound and determined to say that. And we do that exactly the same thing. We're sitting there having a conversation with someone, and then we remember the time that we met Hugh Jackman in a coffee shop,
And we
stop listening. We're just waiting for a moment to interject our story about Hugh Jackman and coffee. Stories and ideas are gonna come to you. You need to let them come and let them go. Number five, if you don't know, say that you don't know. And people on the radio, especially on PR, are much more aware they're going on the record. So they're more careful about what they claim to be an expert and what they claim to know for sure. Do that. Err on the side of caution. Talk should not be shared. Number six, don't equate your experience with theirs. If they're talking about having lost a family member, don't start talking about the time you lost a family member. If you're talking about the problem they're having, don't tell them about how much you hate your job. It's not the same. It is never the same. All experiences are individual. And more importantly, it is not about you. You don't need to take the moment to prove how amazing you are or how much you suffered. Somebody asked me once how do you think people who brag about their artists are losers. Conversations are not a promotion opportunity. Number seven, Number seven, try not to repeat yourself. It's constant and it's a real word. And we tend to realize, especially in work conversations or in conversations with our kids, if we have a point to make, we just be rephrasing over and over. Don't do that. Number eight, stay out of the weeds. Frankly, people don't care about the years, the names, the dates, or the dollars details you're so to come with your mind. They don't care. What they care about you. They care about what's your life. What you have in common. So don't get that to detail. Leave them out. Number nine. This is not the last one, but this is but it's the most one people know. No, listen, I cannot tell you how many really important people have said the listening is perhaps the most, the number one most important skill that you could develop. Buddha said, and I'm paraphrasing, if your mouth is open, you're not lying. And Calvin Coolidge said, no man ever listened his way out of a job.
Why do we not listen
Why
to
do we
each
not
other?
listen to each other? Number one,
We'd rather
we'd
talk.
rather talk.
When I'm talking,
When I'm talking, I'm in control. I don't have to hear anything. I'm not interested. I'm the center of attention. I can foster my own identity.
But there's another
But
reason.
there's another
We get
reason.
distracted.
You get
The
distracted.
average person
The average person talks with about 20 200 words per minute. But we can listen at up to 500 words per minute.
So our minds are filling in
those other 275 words. And look, I know it takes effort and energy
to
actually pay attention to someone.
But if you can't
You can't do that. You're not in a conversation. You're just people shouting out very little sentences in the same place.
You have to
Listen to one another. Stephen Covey said it very beautifully. He said, most of us don't listen with the intent to understand. We listen with the intent to reply. One more rule, and number 10, and it's this one, be brief. A good conversation is like a newspaper, short enough to retain interest, but long enough to cover the subject.
all of this
All of this boils down to the same basic concept, and it is this one. Be interested in other people.
I grew up with a very
with a
famous
very famous
grandfather,
grandfather, and there was kind of
He
ritual
would
in
come
my
over to talk to
people
my
would come over
grandparents,
to talk to my
and
grandparents.
after they would leave,
My mother would come over to us and she'd say, "Do you know who it was? She was the runner to America. She was the mayor of Sacramento. She won a Pulitzer Prize. He's a Russian ballet dancer." And I kind of grew up assuming everyone has some everyone has some hidden amazing being. And also I think it's what makes me a better host. I keep my mouth shut as often as I possibly can. I keep my mind open, and I'm always prepared to amaze, and I'm never disappointed. You do the same thing. Go out, talk to people, listen to people, and most importantly, be prepared to be amazed. Thanks. 네. 네, 오늘 여기까지 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.